All right. I have something really excited, and we should be really excited. Is that now? Keep in mind that I don't get any part of this. The reason that I brought this one gentleman here is because he's an icon to me personally, where that he has a trust factor that is just reeling in for him, and it just builds his name out of nowhere. And I have a lot to learn myself. So I want to welcome Brian G. Johnson. I mean, he is, I mean, I'm just mesmerized just to have him here. So thanks for being on, Brian.
James, man, thank you. Hey, we're just we're doing our thing. We're hanging out. I'm super excited. I know we've got so much to share with everybody that's here today, and I'm just excited to share my journey, hear about you a little bit, what you've done, where you're going, and we're gonna have some fun today. So let's rock and roll, baby.
Definitely. So I was going to ask you, you have something out there called the Trust Funnel. And if I'm getting that right, because I'm getting very little sleep because I'm working my butt off. But if I learned the trust funnel, I'd be able to work less and enjoy life more. Can you tell me a little bit about really how you first started? Because I know that everybody starts somewhere.
Indeed, yeah. So there's right now, I'm currently on Brian G. Johnson version 3.74202, which means that there's been like about 3.5 versions of Brian G. Johnson. And when it comes to online marketing, version 1.0 happened around 2002 to 2003. Now, at that point, I had kind of seen the internet coming, and I had just moved back home from Colorado. So I'm in Colorado again, and I've actually lived here twice now. And I moved back home to Minnesota, and just to get my feet on the ground and to find a place and get a job, I moved in with my dad and my mom. I went back in my bedroom for about a month, and it was kind of weird. And my dad had converted my bedroom to an office, and he had this old kind of like computer. It wasn't old at the time, and I remember jumping online and just playing around. It was AOL, and it was like so exciting back in the day, and I'm so excited today. It's just so much opportunity, just like there was back 15 years ago, there is today. And I jumped on this archaic computer, and I was on an AOL, and I just remember the sheer excitement I got the first time I heard, "You've got mail." And I was just like blown away, and I was connecting with people. And I really did see it as this is going to be something that's totally going to change the way people spend money online. And I saw that opportunity, and I jumped in, and I kind of wasn't too serious for the first few years. So really I got started around 99, 2000. But by 2002 I got very serious. I hunkered down, and I really said to myself, how are you going to get that success that you desire? You absolutely have to focus and prioritize. You have to get the skills needed in order to drive traffic to get the money. And one of the things I'll say is right there, I wasn't like, I must have the money. I was like, instead, I was thinking, I need to get the skills. I need to educate myself so I can get the skills to drive the traffic so I can get the money. And I started focusing on SEO, and before you know it, I was driving 10,000 visitors a day. And at that point, once I was doing that, I said, okay, I'm going to go commercial. And literally, I went from making nothing to making thousands of dollars a month. And soon after, I quit my job as a professional chef. And really, for about 4 or 5 years, I just joined so many different affiliate marketing programs. I sold posters, prints, domain names, web hosting, used textbooks. I made hundreds of thousands of dollars with the AdSense program. I learned about expired domains. I just stayed really in the trenches. I didn't teach people what I was doing. Nobody knew who I was. I was an affiliate marketer. I knew SEO, I drove traffic, and I worked about 3 to 5 hours a day, maybe 4 days a week. I played video games. I went for walks with my dog. I lived the life that I dreamt of, and I was just so grateful, and I still am today. And then by the time I got to 2008, I kind of felt like I needed to grow up or do something new. Because for me personally, I find that I am a tinkerer. I like to try to figure out how to get results. I'm curious about the way things work and how I can take my own interpretation of how they could work and then move forward and just get in the lab and experiment. So I basically started teaching other people what I had learned about SEO, affiliate programs, WordPress, and I started launching my own programs back in 2008. And to this time, I've probably launched, just so many: Revenue Domains Exposed, SEO Press Formula, Commission Ritual, Auto Content Cash, Revenge of the Affiliates, 300 Internet Marketers, Push Button SEO, and there's probably, Rank and Pillage was another one. So a lot of different products. And that kind of just taken me to where I am today. And over the last year and a half, I focused on really, writing this book, Trust Funnel, and I shared the good, the bad, and the ugly. I shared what I learned about achieving the success, and really it's an A to Z from how to get started to really living that life and being able to generate traffic, and not only generate it but convert it into cash that will allow you to live a fabulous, wealthy life. So that's kind of like the 5-minute backstory on me, James.
I mean, I tell you, this mesmerized, really. I was going to ask you quick. We were talking about something right before we came on, and of course, all this is live, and it was about building relationships, and
Yes.
You had me on the edge of my seats. Can you explain a little bit about that? Because that just blew my mind.
Yeah. Well, first off, so let's talk about it, and we'll put it in the context of this book. So why Trust Funnel? What is a trust funnel? And it's really interesting because, first off, if I say trust and funnel, this is how I roll, James. I like to have a conversation. Like, what comes to your mind when you see the cover, and like what comes to your mind?
Well, the first thing I know that blue is the color of trust.
Okay.
And the other thing is that basically you're funneling your trust where that it takes step by step. It's not something that just comes automatically.
Right, and I think that's awesome, and you're right. Like, blue is the color of trust, and one of the concepts behind the book, and this is like on a deeper level, I don't think people really understand that until they get into it, but if we talk about trust, not only are we talking about building trust with each other, like right now, you and me, we're establishing rapport, we're getting to know each other, we're getting to understand each of our quirks and imperfections, the greatness we bring to the table. But at the same time, when we talk about internet marketing, I personally believe that the future is trust, and not just the relationships, but the algorithms that dictate who is able to drive traffic and not. So when I got started, it was a dumb robot that powered Google. And all I did was I studied the dumb robot, and I gave it what I wanted, and before you know it, I was driving 5,000, 10,000 visitors a day, and I was making lots of money. Fool the robot, get results. Those days are long gone. Today, the robot is still in place. However, I personally believe it's powered by people. The entire Facebook platform is based on a like button. If people don't press the like button, you're not going to be seen on Facebook. If people don't comment, engage with you, your content is not going to spread to other people. So really, if we look at Facebook, it's very clear that, again, right here,
Oh, okay, I see that.
the like button. So the whole platform is structured around trust. People listen to those they like, and they buy from those they trust. Know, like, and trust. So not only are we talking about just developing trust between you and me, but understand that I personally believe the algorithms that dictate which content goes viral and drives traffic and which content does not is based on trust. If you go to YouTube, what button do they have? They have an upvote. People can decide if they like the content. one of the things I hear YouTube experts talking about is the videos that rank the best. The algorithm is based on how long people watch the video.
Yes.
Trust. The big sites that we're talking about all are relying on people to dictate and determine which content gets the traffic and which content does not. If we talk about Amazon, reviews play such a huge pivotal part. If you have a ton of terrible reviews, your ability to sell books is going to tank. So on one hand, that's a little bit about like this relationship building that we were talking about, and I think that's how my book kind of addresses this very important issue, because if people continue to focus on the robots, we're in trouble. Now on a higher level, I think it's easy for people to get consumed by what buttons to push, by understanding the algorithms, by trying to figure out the very best software, the very best coaching. And instead, if they can focus on actually what they're publishing, right? So not so much how to publish, not so much what buttons to push or what software is the best, but focusing on the content, because that is where the magic truly happens. So that's a little bit about like my book and trust and establishing rapport with people and whatnot.
Totally. So how this can help a lot of people, for example, a lot of us are email marketers, and when we shoot out an email, and especially for one product where everybody's already mailing for them, most likely they're going to pick the email from the person that they most trust. Does that relate to you?
Absolutely. And not only that, I think it's important to really look and understand what triggers a purchase, especially in our industry. And trust is very, very important. There are people that will wonder, is this a product that can help me? And if you've got that trust level with your subscribers and buyers, and I just think of them as like members and friends, then obviously you can do really well. And case in point, last month I was promoting products, and based on the strategies that I was using that are based on trust and also based on really giving people what they want, my earnings per click were 3 times that of the typical affiliate. Wow. So most affiliates were earning around $3 a click, and I was earning $10 a click. Amazing. So on one hand, it's really lucrative, and it pays really, really well, and it's a lot of fun too. Small things, how you interact on a daily basis have huge impacts and implications in your results. You mentioned email. Just by writing your own email, I will use a swipe maybe 5% of the time. I might modify a swipe now and then, but I pretty much write my own emails, period, because I want to tell people from me. Not what the marketer tells me I should be sending out, but I want to make a connection, and I want to tell a story, and I want it to be from me. So I think these are the kind of things that you can do to elevate your trust. And one of the core focuses is like, how can we speed trust? In other words, when I started with this project, I was asked to speak at Marketing Mayhem, and I was optimizing my website to speed the process of cold traffic getting to know, like, and trust me. So I was asking myself, what can I do on my website that will speed the process of people getting to know, like, and trust me? And it had to do with how I used my images, where I placed the images, the kind of content I posted, the way I offered opt-ins, and a lot more. So on one hand, I think just understanding the technical details are important, but also it's the message that you share. And when you focus on doing both of those things in kind of how I do it, the results can be very, very powerful.
Amazing. I've noticed a lot of, this is where I kind of wanted really to talk to you, because keep in mind, folks, that this interview happened, or this talk, or this get-together, this hangout happened over the whim. And Brian will tell you that. It's just this morning, I said, you know what? I want to know more about the book. I have to know more about the book. I'm just seeing I see Brian's image everywhere with Brad Goss, and it was where Brad has his pipe on and these killer images, and I see
Right.
hundreds and hundreds of likes, hundreds and hundreds of comments, and how are you getting all these likes and comments? Because I'm looking at it's a flood of like a couple hundred likes or so.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things we talked about, James, when we jumped on is we did talk about social media and branding and authenticity, and all of these things kind of lend themselves to that trust message. And one of the things that I do, and also kind of lends itself to what we talked about earlier, which is building relationships and core fundamentals. And while so many people focus on the technology, that's not where the juice is. Like, if you're trying to figure out how to make the most money and you continually are looking for something outside yourself, it's going to be hard to tap into. There's a mentor out there, an amazing, powerful social media marketer. Now, he put out a book in 1936 called How to Win Friends and Influence People. Now, that's Dale Carnegie, and this guy has social media down to a science. And one of the things that I have done in order to be able to put something out there that gets, I've had posts have 200 likes and, I don't know, 85 comments. Like ridiculous amount of engagement, which is really cool. And a year ago when I started, when I made the conscious decision to do exactly what I've done over the last year, I said, or I should say my Klout score was about 65. So I haven't checked it today, but as of yesterday, my Klout score was 78. So like when you start touching the high 70s, that's rare air. Very few people get past mid 70s. And it's really because of the core fundamentals that I leverage that Dale Carnegie has taught for years and years. And I really love this quote by Dale, and the quote is, it's not going to be perfect, but the message will be right on track. You can win more friends in 2 weeks by being interested in what they can bring to the table, in what they offer, rather than spending 2 years of trying to get people interested in you. So one of the things that I do on social media is I just try to identify what is it that people want. And if we're on Facebook, what do people, again, I'll just kind of bounce it off you. James, what do you think people want on Facebook?
Everybody has something on their shirt that I notice, and for many years, it always has what's in it for them. And that's really what I find that people want. They want attention. That's what I feel.
Yeah, so I think you're absolutely right. I think people want to be heard, right? I mean, we all want to be heard. People want to be a part of something special. People want to do things with their life that has meaning. People want their opinions to be heard. And if we take that and we really break it down to exactly what that means on Facebook, I think people, when they post something, they want likes.
That's exactly
it. If people post something, they want comments. So as a marketer, it's really easy for me to align myself with people I generally like. Okay. Now, as I go into this, it could sound like, holy smokes, he's totally disingenuous. He's only doing this for his own benefit. But I'll tell you, that could not be further from the truth. I am friends with people on Facebook I admire, people that I enjoy, people that have something fun to offer. And if I don't like something someone's posting, I unfollow and unfriend them immediately. Now, with that being said, and literally, I made a video about this. I made a video about really creating the perfect Facebook feed with people that you love, things that excite you. So when I see somebody post, it's really easy for me to click like and say, good morning, Gilly, Bob, Jim, Sean, Bob, Sue, etc., etc., etc. James, good morning, have an awesome day. And that's from the heart, and I mean that. And when you start doing that, I'm on the call, and I can talk to you later. Thanks.
So that's what I like about him is, folks, understand that Brian is himself. he doesn't change. It's when you meet him in person, that's the way he is, and if you meet him right here, I guess that's one of your keys is just being who you really are.
Authenticity, you know. So anyway, let's just keep rolling on that Facebook thing. So it's like I really engage with other people, and a lot of people don't. And it's like I want my stuff to be heard. If I post a comment on someone's status update or whatnot, it's nice when they like it. I appreciate that. In that spirit, I do the same thing. And I also try to make things about other people, not just me. You know, once in a while I'll post, you know, I really appreciate you. Thank you for being a part of my journey. Thanks for being on this planet. You know, we're doing great things together, and I mean that. So when I do all of these things, you know, people engage with me. And the other part of the equation is people want to be around greatness. People love rock stars. People love Hollywood actors and actresses. People love astronauts, and people love, you know, science engineers and Einstein and greatness. So when you're doing the very best you can do, when you're striving for greatness, when you have the courage to say, I'm going to release a New York Times best-selling book. Have you ever said that? Like, for me, that's a goal. I'm going to launch a New York Times best-selling book, and the more I say it, the more comfortable I get. Now, I don't know if this book is going to hit the list. It's going to come close, and I've already done very well, but just the fact that I state that is, I think, very, like, exciting for people. Like, this is a guy that knows what he wants, and he's going for it, and he's striving to be the very best version of it himself. So these are kind of the things that have really allowed me to achieve a high level on Facebook. And of course, I'm just laughing, and I got to throw out, and being goofy too, and having fun, and posting pictures of yourself, and being something that people haven't seen time and time again, because at the end of the day, people are bored to death with their lives. That's why, and then I learned this from Perry Belcher, that's why people like to go gambling, because it's exciting. It's exciting losing your money or winning a bunch of it. You know, it can suck or it can be exhilarating. That's why guys like blockbuster Hollywood summer movies, shit's blowing up everywhere. It's like, yeah. So if you can have some fun in your marketing, if you can do things that's a little bit, you know, not so buttoned up and professional, I think that resonates. And this has really led to, you know, a lot of growth. All of these ideas, you know, within my marketing, and also just being the best Brian G. Johnson I can be.
You know what? You said a mouthful, really. I'm just totally mesmerized, because really where you're coming from, it just, even though the Perry Belcher, can you tell folks who he really is? I mean, they don't know how big time this guy really is.
Yeah. So Perry Belcher, he is, he works with, Ryan Dice. I forgot his last name. He works with Ryan, and they are like kind of the two guys in my, this is the viewpoint I get, the two guys that started Digital Marketer. They're huge. Like, Perry will be at Traffic and Conversions next week, and he is one of the leading authorities when it comes to sales messages. And I actually went to Traffic and Conversions several years ago, and I probably sat through about 6 or 8 hours of presentations over 3 days. And he had one that was basically called Simple Selling System, and it was like a 21-step process. And as a marketer with no formal education, I'm a professional chef. I have a culinary degree from France, so I had to really learn in the trenches. And you hear about a headline, you hear about a testimonial and a guarantee, but it turns out there's 21 things, and it's important, incredibly important, to have them in the right sequence. And the sequence is far more important than, like, you know, the headline is critical, of course, but the sequence is so important, because ultimately in a sales letter, you're not trying to get people to buy. Really, you're trying to get people to continue on the process of reading your letter, taking in your information, and as they continue to read, they get closer to a buying purchase decision, because your letter kind of funnels them in to just that. And And at the very beginning, he talked about, you got to do something to grab attention. You have to do something that can really set yourself apart because it's a noisy world. So, that's why I'm on top of sand dunes, and I'm pointing up and also it's like that's just me, and I think it's really important for marketers to get super, super clear on what their message is and how they're going to carry themselves and how they want to live their life. So, I kind of jumped into my story when I was, I don't know, like 15 years ago. So I was in my 30s and I was a marketer. But before that, when I was like 10 years old, I was in school hearing about all these things I could do, like an attorney, a doctor, a lawyer, and I'm like, gotta wear a suit, a surgeon, you can have your hands in some guy's stomach all day. No, definitely not that. And I thought of this epic, exciting, adventurous life, and I try to live that. So when I go on vacations, I try to do fun things. We're driving down to New Mexico with my wife, and I say there's some sand dunes. Let's go pretend like we're 12 and jump around on sand dunes and take pictures. And it's fun for me. I mean, why not act like a big shot? It doesn't mean I think I'm a big shot. It means I'm trying to really just have a lot of fun. And also, it's attention getting, and not a lot of people do it. So when you do, again, all of these kind of things together have really created, a better version of Brian G. Johnson in my personal life and in my marketing.
So all of it really leads is to a trust funnel.
Exactly.
So you take them almost by the hand, step by step, and once you have that trust funnel, it's sales pages that are going to convert, it's email that's going to convert, and people buy from those that they like.
Absolutely, absolutely, and they do business with people they like too. Joel Comm was just saying this the other day on social media. It's like, I work with the people I really dig, and I want to work with, obviously, like sometimes opportunities come around and you find you might not really, something doesn't gel or whatnot with another individual. You might do a project and see it through, but the chances of continuing to work with these people time and time again, I think diminishes, and people want to hang around people that make them feel good. People want to hang around people they enjoy. So if we focus on those kind of questions first, and we think about, how can we build trust quicker, and how can we offer value to the market? How can we solidify relationships on a deeper level, which can be tricky because everyone's asking for something. Hey, will you promote my product? Will you promote this? The earnings per click are so much, and it's hard to cut through that. But if we can really just solidify people in relationships in this business that we enjoy, I think great things can happen, And not just in business, it just feels better, I mean, don't you want to work with people you respect, people you like, people that also can make you a boatload of money? I mean, to me, that's the way to roll.
You just said something real powerful there, because I didn't realize it, because I have a lot of people that come up to me, they want to partner with me, and I get flooded. But some people, I just basically gravitated to them because they did the simple things. For example, they made me a testimonial video out of nowhere. Or they liked some of my pictures, or they wrote some comments and said some nice things to me, and a lot of likes. And I always remember the people that put the likes on there, or maybe they follow me on Instagram. I don't care what it is, and then all of a sudden, maybe a month later, they come up to me and say, hey, do you want to partner up on this? And I'm like, and I don't even get why I'm liking them, but I guess it was a small, step-by-step pace, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I like this guy. I want to work with him.
It's funny, James. I was just thinking today about like a meme that I would create, and it's like the small choices that you make day to day, how you can impact someone's life just by liking a status update, just by sending a nice note, just by being a positive force in somebody's life can result in huge business opportunities. And not only that, isn't that a nice way to live? I mean, I think we should try to celebrate each other, Some people are worried, like, if I mention Joel Comm's name, everyone's going to run to Joel Comm, and that's going to take business away from me. But there's a flip side to that story, and Joel can say something nice about me, too. And I personally believe that life is an echo, and that what we put out as humans comes back one way or another. So there's been plenty of times when I've supported people and I've gone to bat for them and I've mailed for them and I'd made them money, and what I got back just didn't really add up. However, other people have come into my life, other things have come into my life, and again, I think this just kind of goes back to life is an echo. So if you put out good things to the universe, if you support other people, and when it comes from the heart, you know, amazing things can happen in our business.
You know what? That's the title of your new book, which you should come. Life is an echo.
Well, maybe
that is so really. It just so people don't get what you just got done saying, because these little small things that you do, for example, liking somebody, and then when you try to get, then you ask them to promote or whatever, it's going to be a lot easier than just hitting you up and say, well, I got EPCs at $3, or I got this. You know what? I hear that 100 times a day.
It's like, who cares? Who cares? I've seen that a million times, and it's so common. And one of the things that I really tried to do with my launch is I made the entire launch about other people, and it really worked. Again, and this is just trust, and this is just Dale Carnegie. I first sent out my book to people that were really close to me, people I've worked with before. Now, we have just, you know, you reached out to me, so we're going to build that relationship and whatnot. In fact, I already said I want to send you my book, and I want to sign it, and because we're establishing that now. And I sent out a tremendous amount of books, and I didn't really have an agenda. It was just like, this means a lot to me. I want you to have it. And then later I sent a postcard. And it wasn't about huge EPCs, it was about them. And it's like, you know, it won't be the same without you. And that took people to a very personalized page about themselves. It wasn't one JV page for everybody. It was really about trying to take that personal connection, that personal relationship, I should say, to the next level. And it was very, very powerful. And again, I just think it's a nice way to do business, you know. So anyway, that's what I know, and I'm sticking to it.
You know what? I love what he has to say, and I love what Brian has to say. I mean, it's almost really going to a Les Brown. You know, when you're hearing Les Brown or Tony Robbins, it's really taking you to the next level. But you know what? The difference is coming from the heart. And you see that and you hear that in his voice. And I knew it. You're saying something about the wolf cry. Can you tell me about the wolf cry?
Yeah. So it's the war cry.
Oh, the war cry. There it is. It's like the Spartans or something like that.
Indeed. So, you know, I basically spent 2013, the end of 2013, and the beginning of 2014 writing my book. And as I got towards the end, I had thought I knew what I was going to write in the last chapter, and I kind of had thought, you know, I'll probably talk about, you know, don't forget that plug-in thing on page 147, and it's really important, and this and that. And literally, you know, I had at the same time been going through a lot of personal discovery, a lot of personal growth. A lot of the things I talked about today, I was working on in improving myself and where I wanted to go. And I started writing the very last chapter, and I didn't write anything about like a table of contents or resources or don't forget about the plugin. I basically sat down, and out of the blue, I kind of had these ideas stream to me, and I just started writing down. And in about 10 minutes, I probably wrote about 75% of my wealth war cry, and it's basically a creed in which I live my life today by. It's how I stay aligned with what's important. It's the goals I have for myself. It's how I'm going to get there, and I'll share it with you right now today.
Mm-hmm.
Today, I stake my claim, and from this day, I'll be wealthy in finance, friendship, and in life in general. I will play for all the marbles, and they will be mine. I will stare down the face of fear as I kick down the door of opportunity, and I'll announce my arrival wherever life may take me. I will listen to no man who tells me otherwise, for it is me, and me alone, who's in charge and in control of my destiny. Today, I stake my claim.
That was amazing. Can you explain how really just by saying that out loud, especially in front of a mirror, how that it basically gets into your subconscious and make you start living those words you just got
Yeah,
done
well,
saying?
yeah, well, first of all, like I said, you know, I've always been someone that's trying to better themselves, to grow and whatnot. In the last 2 years of my life, I've really kind of just decided that, you know, I'm a badass. I'm fucking awesome, pardon my French, and that just
Hmm.
slipped out, but I am. And so are you, James. And I personally believe that every person on this planet has something special to offer. And it's easy to get bogged down and comfortable. And to live an amazing life takes incredible courage to take risks, to do things that people might say you're not going to be able to do, to gain that experience, to gain that again, the courage. Oh, the word I was looking for was discipline. I mean, it takes discipline to do awesome things. To write a book, I mean, that took 9 months of discipline. So all of these things are important. And you know, I just wrote this creed because I think these. I don't know if it's 10 or 11 sentences. Really, in my opinion, cover some of the most critical elements to really staying on track day to day. You know, I will listen to no man who tells me otherwise. There will be naysayers every direction you face. People will tell you it's crap. People will tell you it's foolish. People will tell you you should do it this way or you should do it that way. And what matters is what you want to do. It's getting clear with yourself. It's identifying how you want to live your life and moving forward. So that part about I will listen to no man is incredibly important. And having the courage to say, one day I will be a New York Times best-selling author. Like if you are in love with writing and you are an author, and just say that in public, not just like in a corner, but like to declare it on Facebook, like to show up and have that courage. You know, I will stare down the face of fear as I kick down the door of opportunity. You know, again, that really helps with just aligning my message. And it tells myself, you know, Brian, if you want greatness in your life, then step up to the plate and start swinging. You know, you might miss, but Babe Ruth missed all the time. And he is a hero to those people that follow baseball and sports in general. So just having that creed and repeating that creed really touches on these important parts of life: discipline, courage, naysayers, doing the small things day to day that add up to, you know, a life worth living has been so powerful and has really helped me to get where I want to go.
Nice. For a lot of people that want to look and try to get this book, how can they get it? How can they get their own copy? Is it in
Yeah,
Amazon or?
yeah. So people can access trustfunnelbook.com, and right now, probably for like another week or so, I have got some amazing bonuses, like tons, a ridiculous amount of bonuses. And all you need to do is just buy the paperback copy and add your name and email address, and I'm going to send you the Kindle version for free. I'm going to send you a handbook for free. I'm going to send you an 87-minute case study based on how I rolled the launch out for TrustFunnel. And for those that didn't see it, it was pretty special because the amount of people sharing and the amount of buzz that I created was astronomical. That's another bonus, and just tons of bonuses. You know, I talked about how I roll out my affiliate promotions and how I earn, you know, $10 per click. That's another bonus. So people can, again, go to trustfunnelbook.com. That will take them to Amazon or Barnes & Noble. They can order the book, and as soon as they order, they can just add their name and email address. I'll send them all the bonuses, including the digital version. So they'll have a physical copy for the shelf. They'll have bonuses, including the digital version. And it is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. It's hitting bookshelves across the country now, and I
That's
believe in Europe as
amazing.
well.
You mean these books already on the bookshelves already, so that you can actually go into your favorite bookstore and just pick it up from there?
Yeah, they're, like I said, they're coming out right now in the month of February. So this month they're hitting different different bookstores.
That's amazing. A lot of people that are watching this don't understand how hard it is to get a book into. Really, you can grab your copy. I can't even do that. And Brian is just did this, and I'm sure it's going to be a New York Times bestseller in no time. And what I want everyone to do is grab this copy. You have to grab it. First of all, he's showing you how he's getting $10 clicks. This is something I've always said it before. You have to invest in yourself. If you don't invest in yourself, nobody else will. And where are you going to find a link? I'm going to put a special link in, and it's going to be a naked link. And it can be over there, it can be over there, or it can be up there or there. It's exactly wherever this YouTube video shows up on Facebook. But you know what? Grab it. I'm going to tell you, it is powerful stuff. What he just got done telling you right now, and especially with all the bonuses, that alone would be just it's. You know what? What made you, or why are you giving out so much reality here? Because you could have sold any of this material that you had, but you're just giving it almost really just to help people out there.
Yeah, my goal was twofold. Number one, I think it's important to remember that I spent 9 months writing this book. I put a lot of details, and this really does take people from A to Z. I talk about branding, social media, SEO, launching a website, email promotions, list building, affiliate marketing, how to get a domain, great ways tools to, just lots of stuff. And my selfish goal is to get this book out to a lot of people because I think it can help people to move forward. So one of the things I wanted to do is to create an absolute irresistible offer that would make people want to go grab a paperback copy of my book. And by adding a lot of cool bonuses, hopefully I've done that. And so far people have really dug the bonuses and whatnot. And I think it's a good deal for everybody. So far the book has received 55 reviews on Amazon, and 53 of those have been 5 stars. There's 1 4-star review, and there's 1 3-star review. And I'm very satisfied and happy, and I feel blessed that so many people have said so many amazing things. And again, James, that's why I did all these bonuses, because I really want to make it a no-brainer for people to say, hey, I'm willing to spend $15, and I'm going to get a lot of awesome bonuses on the side as well, and just jump into it and grab it because I think it'll help folks.
Exactly. You know what? Thanks for coming on, Brian. I totally appreciate it. And folks out there, they're watching this in the big 21,000 group. You know what? I built that group with the ethics and the ideas that Brian has taught us today. And that's basically all. None of them are paid members. And this is what I want you to do. Grab the link right there. Get this book. Let's make this book #1 on New York Times bestseller, really. I'm going to tell you, really. You're going to feel good. And let's help a good friend out also. I'm going to tell you, he is amazing. He didn't have to come on here. This was impromptu. And for the stuff he's telling it just comes right from the heart. So thanks for being on, Brian. I'm flabbergasted, really. This was amazing stuff you brought to us.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. And James, like I said, I really enjoyed chatting with you. Do you go to marketing events?
Oh, I'll be at Market Mayhem. So I'll be at a booth.
Unfortunately, I'm going to be at NAMS. I'm speaking at NAMS the same weekend, so I won't be there. But I hope to meet you one day soon in person, and drop me your postal address in that Facebook Messenger chat that we have going. I really want to get a book for you in the mail. I want to sign it. And thank you so much for having me on. It means a lot. I appreciate you. I appreciate the opportunity. And you know what? You watching there, you can do amazing things. It starts with believing in yourself and going for it. I'm Brian G. Johnson, and poof, pixie dust.
Thank you, Brian, so much.